Hello, my darlings. Oh, my Bill, my darling producer, my dear, dear friend. Aren't we fortunate tonight to have the one and only Tony Rathman join us at a time that I think is a particularly poignant moment in human history and evolution.
It's amazing because obviously we know him for such a long time.
And so well.
Yes, and it doesn't seem like time has gone by that he's been on. I mean, maybe it's been a year, but it doesn't seem that way.
No.
What he and Cherie are doing are just amazing with Staticom 3.0 that they've been working on. I've been honored to be a part of going with his team on an investigation.
Oh, wow.
Oh, it was. And the thing is, they're so professional. I mean, to me, they are just outstanding, all of them.
Yes.
But right now, we're specifically talking about Tony, who's just an outstanding individual. I can't say no more about him and Cherie. Like I said, this is a true story, Annie, before we bring him on. When we were at the Kreischer Mansion, which was located in Staten Island, my mom is a worry freak, okay?
Yes, I know, Elizabeth.
She's calling me. When are you coming home? And it was Cherie, and I think it was at the time Lourdes, that reassured my mom, listen, he's fine. He's with us. Everything's good. And my mom calmed down. So thanks to Cherie also for doing that.
She is a very comforting presence. She absolutely is.
She is a doll. So again, it's just great to have Tony come back. But before we bring him on, I just want to put this up on the screen. The Staticom 3.0, which is what we're going to be covering tonight. And fortunately for all of you that are watching, and for those that are listening, you're going to want to come on, possibly if you can, onto the KGRA YouTube, Annie's page, or World Awakening on YouTube. Tune in, because you're going to hear these clips. They're just amazing. But just to be in that interactiveness of seeing what's going on in real time, it's great audio-wise as well, through the radio side. But this is fascinating stuff. So without any further ado, let's just get right into it, because he sent like 8 clips.
Wow, fantastic.
So there he is.
Hello.
Tony Rathman, my star brother.
It is so good to see you, and you as well, Bill. It's been way too long.
Agreed.
Yeah, well, between the three of us, we've got some real stories to share and to tell. But Tony, I have to say it, the work that you're doing in this field supersedes anything else that I know of personally that has been happening in terms of research worldwide.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's incomparable. And I think that the most important thing that people can do is just pay attention. Just listen at what you have achieved. I would say that what you're doing technologically and what Cody and Satori are doing spiritually, you merge those two, and it answers so many questions for humanity, to the extent that if anybody, after hearing the work that you're doing and what they're doing, is not moved to a greater level of understanding, that at this point it's just willful ignorance. At this point, it's denial for the sake of being contrary, because there's just nothing left to deny. We are not alone, and we are completely surrounded by spirit all of the time. And now we have a way to communicate with them that we didn't before, and it's because of you.
Well, I can't tell you how much I appreciate that. I remember interacting with you, Andrea, oh my gosh, 5, 6, 8 years ago, maybe longer. I don't remember. But I remember hearing you say, I'm not looking to prove that spirits or entities exist anymore. I'm way past that. And I remember at the time thinking, wait, that I don't understand. Well, guess what? That's exactly what has happened now to me probably a year ago. I mean, as Bill was saying before, he was on an investigation with us. The one thing I wanted to do was to prove that I could capture a spirit speaking. But over time, I realized it wasn't about just getting them to speak. It was about what they said. These were structured thoughts, intentional responses, even personalities showing through.
Yeah.
And that forced me, the deeper questions. Where are these voices coming from? So as we began to develop Staticom and realize that these weren't just a spirit or a ghost, and that we were chasing humanity's biggest mystery of what happens after we pass over.
Yeah.
And, I learned that consciousness doesn't end firsthand, and that it persists, it reaches out, it seeks connection. And that's why proving this communication was so critical to me and so important, because if we can show with clarity and repeatability that this communication exists, that it shows that we're redefining the very nature of existence, that is no longer just a question of ghost hunting.
Right.
It's a challenge for science itself. It ignores the fact that we transition, and that death and limitless potential of consciousness. But it's in that redefining that not only do we redefine the understanding of the afterlife, but the very essence of life itself,
Right.
and ourselves.
Yes.
I'm glad you brought that up, because what separates this, in my point of view, is that a lot of other devices that you see out there on the market are possibly picking up different bandwidths, different frequencies, like a ham radio or AM, FM. What is the separation between the Staticom and some of these other devices that is more of a standalone product, and also the scientific analysis of this device?
Right. So the typical spirit box will scan radio stations. So, one of science's biggest complaint, they had two. The first one was, how can you tell me you're getting voices from the other side when the device that you're using is a radio, which is made to create speech? I mean, it's a very legitimate concern. So we removed the radio. We replaced it with a white noise generator, which produces nothing but static sound from 20 hertz to 20 kilohertz. And what you were saying about the scientific side is we had our complete system analyzed. I'm not going to say his name just because I don't need to drop his name, but he's a super well-known electrical engineer and computer scientist. And he went through every aspect of the system. And he said, here's your problem. The only interference you can get, whether that be electromagnetic interference or any other type of interference, is in the white noise generator. And he told me what I needed to do. He said, you need to metal encase this thing in EMI restrictive container, Faraday cage, that once it's encased, and then ground it and drive a metal pole 1.5 feet into the ground. So if any signal does come in, it bypasses the white noise generator I built and sends it to the ground. He said, if you still get voices after that, let me know. Well, guess what? The voices are still there.
Do the voices have to come from a specific location, or are they coming?
No, they don't. It is a theory called non-locality, meaning that, one of the questions people always ask us is, well, where are they? Have them tell us where they are. Well, they can't. Space and time is a man-made construct. They don't follow it. They have no recognition of it. They don't operate like that. So they can answer from anywhere. So when you're getting a voice, and let's say I'm getting it in my house or another location or a haunted location, and people say, oh, there's a lot of spirits here. having them speak does not mean they're here in front of you.
Right.
What about language?
We have gotten so many languages I can't even count. The other cool thing about it is that we don't have to speak. We can turn it on and just listen to them speak. I turned it on one night and I said something. I'm like, what language are you speaking? That's not English. And they replied, we're speaking Turkish, in English, of course. So then I had it recorded. I took it to somebody who spoke Turkish and they reviewed it and said, oh my God, yep, here's what they're saying.
Annie, wow.
I know, huh?
Oh my
It's amazing, isn't it? Well, the same thing happened too when I was with a friend, a producer and a friend of his, and Cody and Satori were at the farm. We were at the farm together, and his uncle came through, and he spoke only Italian, and so he had to help them decipher what the message was because they were getting the words, but they couldn't. They did neither of them spoke Italian, and so he came through. And what he did, he had died by suicide about 10 or 11 years ago, and his sister has agonized for all this time, being devout Catholics, that he had gone to hell. And the message that he came through with, he said this man's mother's name, father's name, where they lived, and that he was watching over all of them and that he was fine. And that one message through Cody and Satori brought them a peace of mind that nothing else could have.
Exactly.
Nothing else. She didn't have to spend every day praying for his soul to survive hell because he killed himself.
Right. Yeah, the comfort from grief, which is enormous to anybody, whether it's a child or a parent or loved one, it doesn't matter. That grief is enormous. This, once we get it recognized, once we get it acclaimed that this isn't fake, this is real, it can help millions of people with grief. No doubt about it.
Oh my God. It's like a lot of these devices that people use. I'm not one of them, I have to say, because I'm not a big fan. You use them and it says a word, a prompt, whatever the word is, But with this, it's a dialogue. It's a conversation. It's going back and forth with phrases, sentences. It's like you're actually carrying out a conversation.
It's absolutely amazing. It is the paradigm shift in paranormal research. It is.
Thank you.
Breakthrough, groundbreaking.
But you're right, Bill. Every voice is different. Every personality is different. You've got ones that are extremely positive. You've got ones who are a little more sarcastic or negative at times. They're just like here on Earth, different people have different attitudes and express things differently. It's the same thing.
Wow.
Well, let's play the first clip. Did you choose them in order? And just give the audience the.
I don't necessarily know the order, but I'll just let him know. Unless Tony, the videos that you sent me.
I do. Why don't we start with one of the earlier ones? Now, these are all 3.0, but in the last month, we did a major upgrade to the clarity and to the two-way communication. You'll get to hear those tonight, but play the one labeled Choke You, and let me just give a real quick introduction. So this was a live performance in a school up in Miami, Arizona, that was actually built because segregation was still a thing at that time. And so the students that were going there were unfortunately not treated well because of the times and people's opinion of what was right, which is so wrong. But anyway, she was in there a month or two prior, and she said, there's something in the basement and it tried to choke me. Well, we went in there, we turned it on, and she actually asked the questions. That's what you're about to hear.
Wow, so let's do that now.
Who is the nasty man that's down here?
What's his name?
Did he beat the children down here? Sure. Why?
Because he's sick. Yeah, he's sick.
What did he want to do to me when I was sitting in the chair talking to him? Choke me.
So he answered right out, because she said to me before we even turned it on, I felt like he wanted to choke me. She didn't say that when she asked. All she said is, what did he want to do to me? Clear as a bell, choke you. So that one was actually harder to hear because that basement was terribly echoey.
Yeah, the acoustics in it were interfering. Yep.
Correct. So, but hopefully people got a sense that, questions are asked, answers are given, and those aren't even the best ones, but it's a good place to start because it gives you an indication of how they answer. The next one that happens to be at that same location, Bill, if you want to play, it's called Stains.
Yep, got it. All right, let's play that now. You want to give a little background on it?
Yeah, again, live performance. We had probably about 40 people standing in that basement, all curious to see what this method could do. We were randomly asking questions, and that's what you're about to see.
Here we go.
Spirits, can we play a little game? Sure. Okay, great. What am I holding in my hand? Spectacles. Spectacles, I heard, yeah. What else? What's the other name for this? What am I holding? Holy shit! What are these? What's the other name for this? Spectacles is right. What's the other name? So again, still the same echo in the room, so those are a little harder to hear, but you can hear personality, you can hear sense of humor, you can derive emotional state. And again, this is not radio, not satellite, not walkie-talkie. It can pick up no outside signal. It has no mic. It is a closed system. These voices should not be there.
I have to ask. It seems like they know you. I've seen this movie.
They said Rathman.
Right.
Yeah. It's like you're the real deal, like the Whoopi Goldberg character in Ghost. It's like they know to come to you. It's like they had that communication with you.
Well, the equipment being used, I would say, is maybe 40% of the equation. The other 60 is the person operating it.
Yeah.
Even when you go back to Marcello Bacci, who used a system called direct radio voice for 35 years, when he was put into a lab and they pulled his vacuum tubes from his radio one by one, which literally should have made the radio absolutely worthless, he still got voices. The only thing they could remove was Marcello himself. When they took Marcello out of the lab, the voices stopped.
Mm. Interesting.
So it's a connection. It's a built connection of trust with them understanding what you're trying to do and being okay with it to communicate. And they are.
But the thing is, Manny, with this device, and Tony, of course, you can comment on this. It seems like they know now there is a doorway to communicate.
They know that there is a doorway in the same way that I was with Cody and Satori again at the farm, and they know that they are a doorway through their numinism. And we had a bunch of spirits came through all at once, and Satori's like, no, I can't talk to all of you at once. No, just one. Pick one and give us the message. And so they did. They chose one representative to give the message from everyone to me sitting on the sofa, spelled my name out, and then spelled out, "We miss your family."
Wow. That's
so
awesome.
They not only knew me and who I was and how relevant I was to that house.
Yep.
They acknowledged my entire family because they are being acknowledged worldwide now because of our family.
Exactly. And they do not forget. In fact, there'll be some clips later where we return to a haunted hospital that we ran for 4 years and didn't have Staticom back then. Well, we got to take it down. We'll get to those clips later, but they absolutely recognized us and similar message said, but we'll get to those. But this is absolutely just fascinating to me, and it's starting to catch the attention of scientists. It's a hard field to break because a lot of them are still in the materialistic side.
Yeah.
But
well, they're also very, very concerned about being harshly judged by their peers.
Reputation plays a huge factor. You're absolutely correct.
Yeah.
Tony, I think it's more open than you realize.
It's opening.
It's opening.
In the UAP field, they're trying to make this connection now with the consciousness along with AI and reaching into another dimension, because that's what they're saying, that there's something going on with the dimensional space, opening it up and communicating or even traveling into that other dimension. Absolutely.
If you look at quantum physics and quantum entanglement, I mean, it basically boils down to what the ontological primitive is consciousness. And I heard Annie say on her show prior that, thoughts become things. That is so true. It is the thought process of consciousness. If consciousness literally creates the universe, runs it through very simple attributes like love, your thoughts are more powerful than anybody has any idea.
Any idea. Not any idea. I know it. All right, let's plug in the next one. I'm so excited. I can't wait to see what you did.
All right, the next one we're going to play, I'm just going to preface it first. It's called Lennon.
Got it.
Now, the reason this was recorded was because I had just done an upgrade on the system, was running it, and it worked. And Cherie came in to my studio, and she had kind of a distraught look on her face. And I said, "What's wrong?" And she said, "Do you remember Lennon?" I said, "Yeah, of course I remember Lennon." She said, "He was shot on Monday." So this was like 2 days later. And I said, "He was shot?" And she said, "Yeah, he was involved in politics. He was doing some campaign thing. And somebody came right up, point blank range, shot him, and took off." So Staticom was running when she was telling me this, and we heard it say something. And I said, let's ask some questions. Let's see what it can tell us. So we did. That's what you're about to hear. Now, people, after they hear this, they go, "Hey, was any of this true? Were you able to prove any of this?" Well, murders don't get solved in the Philippines. So that was one of the reasons we wanted to know, but that's the clip and the answers you're about to hear.
All right, here we go.
Yes, he was shot. Lenin, did you know that you were shot? Do you have a message for your family? To your mom? I saw you how they shot you. Or shoot you. Lenin, kilala mo ba kung sinong bumaril sa'yo? Yes, para mabigyan ka ng hustisya. Kilala mo ba kung sinong bumaril sa'yo? Just give me the name, Lenin, so I can help you. Did you know how you were killed? Lenin was shot and killed last Monday.
Lennon, do you know who did it or not? Yes. Can you give a name, please? Let's start with first name. What's his first name? Christian. Had a name? Was Christian a name? Was Christian a first or last name? Okay, first name. Do you have a last name?
Wow. Did you actually look up a name, if such a name, Christian, that name exists?
Well, it was funny because they said that name in the beginning, and I didn't realize that was the name. There was a thing in there that said that little Christian blah.
Yeah.
But then that was his first name. And then they even verified. I said, was that first name? First name, yes. And it just, like I said, there should be no voice here. But yet you're getting answers to questions. Now, can we prove any of this? No, not yet. But we released this long before we knew any answers, if any answers would ever come out, just so that it was verified, dated when we released it. But it's been now 3-4 months. We heard nothing.
But it sounds like there's multiple presence there.
Oh, no doubt about it. There's more than
there
one
was
answer.
multiple presents. Yep.
And when Cherie asked for Lennon, it had only been 2 days, 2.5 days. They said he's not up yet, which I thought was a really interesting answer. Like maybe there's a transition period. Maybe there's a period where you accommodate or associate to your new surroundings, and just everything was the statement that he's apart from his money. Last time we went to visit him, I mean, he loved money. I mean, he took us to some amazing fancy restaurants, and he liked to show off when it came to money, which, it was fine. That was him. But for them to say that, there was so much. And then you heard the only voice in there that sounded like him was the one that said, I miss you and I'll always love you, because him and Cherie were childhood friends. And that was just amazing.
Wow. That's heavy.
Yeah, it is. Wow.
All right. So now let's go to, this is when we improved. Now the communication there wasn't bad. You could hear question, answer, question, answer. The one you want to play next is called responses, Staticom 3.0 responses. There are no scientific questions asked here. We had done the upgrade. I came home from work. I had it running the night before, and I just wanted to see if it would work the next night, because we did notice that from day to day, there'd be difference in the quality of the communication. So came home, flipped it on, just started asking random questions, but they give some really great answers. So, Staticom 3 responses. There you go.
Rathman, I heard you say Rathman. Yes. What did you want to say to Roger? It's Tony. Spirits, can you hear me? Yes, okay. That was a loud voice that just answered. What's your name? That's a strange name. How many spirits are here with us right now? A lot? A lot, yeah, that's what I thought you said. Because there's so many of you, is that why all the background chatter? They're talking? Do you have any messages for us? Rathman, I heard that.
Okay, so the spirits are validating that you have found a way to communicate with them that is effective and that is 100% it works all the time. There's a word I'm looking consistently. It works consistently. There's no fluctuation in it.
Not anymore. We had to battle all those problems, figure out what was going on. But yes, we can turn this on 7 days a week, any month of the year, any time of the day, and those voices are there. Whether it's 2 a.m, 2 p.m, or any time in between, you turn them on and they're speaking. And like I said, that particular clip, you could just listen to them. They said something about it keeps pausing, and before I had even said anything. And you literally can do that. You can turn on, just listen to them. It's like a spiritual eavesdrop.
Wow.
But they also said, be careful.
They did. I was just going to say that. Be careful.
The reason I think that was said is for a variety of reasons. First of all, one of the concerns that comes to my mind is, you're opening up a portal of communication, and people always ask, do you know who you're speaking to? The fact of the matter is, no, we don't. We take that risk every time we do. Could it be something darker or conniving or vicious? It could. But I think the bigger concern is more on the side of people than on the side of spirits. Who would like to get a hold of this, and for what reasons? And are those the wrong reasons?
That is exactly what I felt was the warning.
That's exactly how I took it.
Not about them, about us.
Misuse of it.
The atomic bomb. Just because we can doesn't mean we should.
We should. And I wrote a huge paper on that on the webpage for Staticom about, is the world ready for this? Because it works. We are trying so hard to get science to take a look at it, multiple different divisions of science, and it's a challenge, but we know it works, and there's more clips to show you that it works. But yeah, what's that going to change in the world? Could it break down religion? Could it break down science? Could it break everything? Is at risk to be challenged or rethought, and that's scary for a lot of people and a lot of organizations.
Well, it's also an opportunity for integration.
It is.
And so we've really got to look at it from that other side as well too, because if energy is everything and everything is energy, then everything is one thing.
Right.
And consciousness is a part of that one thing. And exactly. I have always maintained that the way that humanity as a whole will make a quantum leap in our spiritual evolution
by raising vibration
to our understanding that we are all functioning in a unified field of consciousness, and that we are actually, everything is one thing. And so we are part of that whole. And so therefore, this communication is perfectly natural. There's nothing supernatural about it.
You are absolutely correct, and agree with everything you say, because we We had to reevaluate our whole reality of what we thought life in the afterlife was. And we agree that there's one universal consciousness of which we're all part of, which means every single one of us is the same. So how we treat people today and the wars and the discrimination, absolute insanity.
Insanity. And only cure for the only antidote for this kind of toxic poison is coming to a realization of our oneness as one human family, period.
Agreed.
There's nothing else that's going to achieve our goal of a peaceful world than that. Nothing.
I want to put this comment up by Joseph in chat.
Sure.
I'm going to touch on this because he mentions spirits are seeing what I'm doing and they tell each other to stay away from that guy. Do you think they know you or Cherie, the individuals that use the device, by their voices? Or do you think they actually can see you and Cherie in the room as they're communicating with you?
I don't know that for sure, but I can tell you, and I didn't play this clip because I played it before, but it's one that I asked them, how do you hear me speak? And their answer was energy of the mind. That's the thing. So that draws us right back to consciousness. If we are fractal portions of universal consciousness and return back to universal consciousness when this particular life ends, then that consciousness shares information. There is communication back and forth between fractal and universal consciousness. And when I'm asking, like the glasses one, what am I holding in my hand? I was thinking what I'm holding in my hand, and they answered. But when we were doing EVP work, the answer would show up on the recorder sometimes before I even asked the question, which means they're not getting it from my vocals. My vocals have nothing to do with it. They are getting it from the energy of my mind, or we believe consciousness.
Yes.
But when they said spectacles and then glasses, you could be dealing with individuals on the other side from two different time periods. They recognize,
glasses were known exclusively as spectacles.
Exactly.
The word had not been right. Exactly.
Right. That might have been their word of choice, and they were right. That's what I was holding, regardless of whether it was used as glasses or spectacles. But if you believe that universal consciousness holds all the knowledge of every life, and only from our individual lives that we are here on the planet to grow, evolve, and expand, it is that information transferred back to universal consciousness that would allow it to grow and expand, because a single mind couldn't expand itself. So therefore, life's purpose is not only for us individually to grow, but then to take that back to universal consciousness to grow and expand it.
I agree with you too, because I always said that we each have a very specific purpose in this world, and I always said to my mother that she was a librarian, that she was a storer of knowledge, because my mother would read 4 or 5 books a week,
right?
Along with functioning in every other capacity in life. She would find the time to devour 4 or 5 books a week and just store this information. And before she passed away, I was like, Mom, could you just mind meld with me? I literally put my forehead on her forehead and just touched her face and said, give it all to me. Give me everything that you've ever absorbed, everything that you have ever ingested into your mind from the thousands and thousands of books that you've read. And I think she took all that earthly information, all that was created here on earth by human beings, and took it back out into the universe.
Right. I agree with that completely. Absolutely.
I'm concerned, Tony. I'm actually concerned what you both were bringing up earlier. If you give this to the wrong people to do analysis on, we all know what the first thing they're going to try to do is weaponize it.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
And if they're, because that is, I mean, I'm hearing a lot in the UAP field about trying to integrate AI and tapping it into a consciousness.
Yes, and they're trying to, by doing so, accelerate the point of singularity.
Right.
Not something that they don't even know what they're doing yet.
No, and for a computer to become conscious, to me, it may act like it's conscious, but to me, that's an impossibility.
But imagine tapping into that energy out there, that consciousness. It's so massive, and you may have found a way, a portal, let's just call it, or a doorway to access it.
I didn't think of that. That's a good point, Bill.
So you got. I would suggest you should be very careful on who you trust. Looking at this from a scientific method, because I've heard many stories where they look at something and things kind of get.
You mean like Tesla? Yeah, that happens all the
Tesla,
time.
maybe, yeah.
The guy who made the car that ran on water? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, right.
Also,
here's the thing about 10 or 15 years ago, might be a little longer, when they were just beginning to develop AI. I believe it was at a computer science lab in, I think, Taiwan or Shanghai. Cherie might know because of her ties.
Right.
But they had fed this computer so much information, and then the computer that was beside it so much information, that they began talking to each other and cutting out the human element. And so that really alarmed the scientists. And as the scientists were discussing amongst themselves in front of the computers what they were going to do about this, the computers developed their own language and started speaking to each other.
Yes, I know.
With completely cutting. They physically destroyed those millions of dollars of computers with sledgehammers, with whatever they could. Those two machines were talking to each other in a language that they developed so that they could cut out the middleman.
Yep.
Don't fuck with this.
Yeah. No, it's frightening on so many levels. And the fears I'm well aware of. Like I said, if you go to entityvoices.com, there's a whole The Good, the Bad, the Ugly paper I wrote on the fears of this getting into the wrong hands. But I can't help but not continue because of the vibrational increase it could cause to humanity as a whole, understanding that life goes on, that it doesn't end. So it's one of those situations where, because I was thinking about hanging it up at that point when I wrote that, and then somebody came to me and said, "You can't.
You can't.
You can't."
No. All you have to do is make sure that everybody that has access to it handles it as responsibly as you and Katie do.
There is no one else that has this version, and I'm just beginning to share with a partner that I've joined forces with. He's an ITC researcher, been doing it for years in Brazil. Yeah. Him and I are the only two people who know how this operates.
Okay, good. Very good.
We've got, I hate to say, we got like 9 minutes, and there's still a few clips to share. So
okay, well, let's share what we can, and then we'll make Tony come back once.
Sure.
We'll just do this as part one,
Play the one. This is back at the old Phelps Dodge Hospital, which we did not have Staticom. We wanted to know, could we actually call out the names that we got when we did EVP work, and would they respond? Play the one that says you were quite missed.
Okay, here we go. Stand by.
Are you still in this hospital?
Spirits, can I ask you a question? The new owner, what is his girlfriend's name? Need help. Can you bring her forward? Spirits, can you tell us the spirits that that reside here?
Spirits, do you still remember Tony and Cherie? Are you excited we're back?
There's a lot there.
Yeah, there's a lot there. But even that, and you can see the differences in the way they talk. Some are happy, some are grumpy, but the end sentence was "you were quite missed." So that was great to see. So real quickly, just play the next one that says, "We acknowledge you."
Got it.
And again,
Go ahead. I'm sorry, Tony, to cut you. Say where you're going to finish your thought. You want me to play it?
yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
What's the name of this hospital, Spirits?
That was it. No.
Spirits, can you hear me? Yes or no? Can you hear me?
Yes.
I'd like to talk to some of the spirits in this hospital. Do you remember me? I'm Tony. Do you remember me? I would like to speak to Michael. Is he still here?
Yeah.
Michael, are you there?
Yeah.
Michael, do you remember saying hi to me loud and clear that I could hear you with my own ears? Do you remember that, Michael?
Yes.
Oh, isn't that great?
Yeah, and that was like 4 or 5 years ago that occurred. But we were in there. I said, "Come on, give me some sign that you're here." And he said, and I heard it with my own ears. He said, "Hi," and I jumped because I was not expecting that. But 4.5 years later, I go back, ask him, and he goes, "Yes, we acknowledged you." So that was incredible.
Which leads me to you say it goes back 4 or 5 years. Is there a specific presence that seems to be the guide that's there occasionally or often that seems to be the bridge to have the other ones come to communicate with you? In other words,
there always does seem to be one spirit that sort of monitors, I guess is the best word I can say, the conversation. Yes, I don't know why that is. It's not always the same voice, and that could vary by maybe because we were at an actual location, so maybe it was the one that was there. I don't know. But there always does seem to be one prominent voice that dictates who speaks, when, and how.
Exactly. That seems to be the overall theme here.
Yeah. And that happens all the time. There's always one dominant voice. And we've actually at times had to say, "Hey, let the other one speak," and convince them to stop talking to let somebody else speak.
Yeah, it's like sometimes it'll get so crowded that, you're talking to the principal who's passing, doing the hall passes. Guys,
right.
You just got to let somebody else come through. My sister, April, has a tendency, when we're with Cody and Satori, has a tendency to dominate the conversation. She does. She'll come busting through, kick everybody else to the curb, say what she's got to say, and then, we have to politely ask her if anybody else would, like to come through and talk, and then she'll decide who she'll allow through. She's just as pushy in afterlife as she was in life. Bless her sweetheart. I love her so much. I miss her so much. But
I know you do.
And, coming back full circle to the whole notion that this kind of technology or the ability to be able to communicate with spirit has the potential to just release humanity from the fear of death.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. 100%.
Yep. The comfort of being able to communicate with a loved one that you have lost, but also not to have to worry that we don't go on, that it's just ashes.
Correct. This is not the end. I never thought it was, but this gives proof that it's not. There is no way for this to be occurring if it's not some form of communication that we have no knowledge of. And to me, that can only be entity, spirit, or consciousness. There's nothing else that can affect the machine this way. So that's pretty much all I need.
I can understand why there's someone there to try to control it, because it seems like a lot of them are like, oh my gosh, he can actually hear us.
You heard that one lady say, Roxy, he's talking to us.
Exactly. So I can understand that there has to be someone on the other side, like, all right, everybody, just chill out. You're going to get your turn. I know you're all excited, but you can see it. You can hear it in their voices. You can tell the tone. They're like, oh my gosh.
Their minds are as blown as our minds are blown.
Exactly, from the other side.
And when we first started, it was even worse. It took them a couple of years to really get comfortable using it and understanding. But the first couple of times we were getting two-way communication, that's exactly what we heard. Oh my gosh, they can hear us. Yeah, he can hear us. We can hear him. So yeah, it's an amazing transformation of information and can help in so many areas that the world is in desperate need of.
Yes.
I don't care. We're supposed to be rapping, but guess what? Who's in control of this clock?
You are.
So guess what? We're going over because there's still a couple of more clips.
All right.
So Tony, which one? The bats or?
Yeah, do the bats, because this is one that we had. We had a nurse named Mary who gave us her name when we first started investigating there. In fact, a friend of mine at the time said there's a woman in here, and she responded on the EVP, said, you're right. This is that woman. Her name's Mary. She was a nurse there. And we asked her so much information we'd never get an answer. One was how she transitioned. Well, I think it's this clip that says how she transitioned, and you'll see why she probably didn't want to tell us, but go ahead and play that clip.
Mm-hmm. Mary, are you still here? Can I speak to Mary? Yes. Can I hear her? Sure. Can she talk? Yeah, Spirits, what am I holding in my hand? Can you say it again for me? What am I holding? One more time, please.
If you can see us, what is Tony holding?
Hold it.
He's wearing your baseball cap.
So just the amount of information that came through there, and unless you know it, like the bats are still coming. Mary hated the bats that would fly around at night. And when we were there, the bats were still there. Maybe not the same ones, maybe even more. And the funny thing about the hat was I had that hat 2 years ago, and I lost it in a water park. It flew off my head and got trapped in the machinery and destroyed. While 3 weeks before, I had found it in a gas station. Now, it was like 3 times the amount it was I paid the original time, but I bought it because I like that hat. And they mentioned the hat, and then the last line was, it's expensive. Well, that one was, because I paid like 3 times the normal hat amount. So it's unbelievable.
What did the hat say?
Route 66.
Yeah.
Oh, very cool.
There's
I
one
was so
more.
busy watching Cherie in the clips, and the look on her face. I didn't even read your hat.
There's
Yeah.
one more clip.
All right. Yeah, I think the last one's the Aho.
Yeah, Aho, let's do it.
All right.
Spirits, if you want to communicate, say pineapple. All right, you're ignoring us now and talking to each other. We can hear you when you whisper, you know that, right? Spirits, do you know who I am? My name is Tony what?
Brad, Princess and Rathman were engaged.
What's my wife's name?
You said it earlier.
Are you ignoring us? Yep.
Yeah, I heard it.
Spirits, is there any message you want to give us? See? How many spirits are we talking to right now?
Seven.
Yeah, what town are we in, Spirits? One more time. What's the name of this town? Whoa. What somebody said? Yeah, I heard that.
Wow.
Well, it's just amazing. But the one line in there that fascinates me the most is the voice that came through and said, "Here's my signal," meaning like, this is me. This is my energy. This is my communication. That just fascinates me.
Yep.
And it's like they're debating on how they're going to speak with you.
Yeah, that as well. No doubt about it.
It's incredible. This is unbelievable, Tony. This is unbelievable. You, Cherie, and the rest are doing. I mean, oh my gosh.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you.
So where can people find more information about what you're doing?
Entityvoices.com is the website. Otherwise, if you're on Facebook, just look up Tony Rathman. I've got multiple other Facebook pages. I'm on Instagram, TikTok, all the information, the tests, places we're investigating or speaking are all listed. So check any of those out. You'll be able to see what we're working on at the moment and what next steps are.
Are you going to be doing any upcoming events where people could see this in real time, like a live performance? And
yes, in 2 weeks, we will be at Phenomicon in Vernal, Utah. We will be there September 3rd through the 6th. After that, we will be in Halifax, Nova Scotia, Canada, presenting this to the Paranormal Symposium there. And then there's smaller events around Arizona. We will be at the Orpheum Theater giving 2 different events. We'll be at the Superstition Mountain Museum running Staticom and giving a speech. And there's a couple other ones. I'm drawing a blank top of my head, but they're all on the website.
any finishing thoughts here? Because I took the hammer out and destroyed the atomic clock.
Well, thank you, Bill. I just want to say thank you, both of you, and Annie, of course, for inviting me on to just show what can be done. I think it has the ability to change
The world.
and from what we need most, which is to higher the vibration and get people to treat all other people better. So thank you for that opportunity. And then the other thing, though, is as great as this technology is, don't ever forget that, tell the people here and now that you miss them, you love them, you appreciate them. Don't wait.
Don't wait.
The transition happens and you have to use machinery to do it.
Yeah.
Say it to them now. That's what matters.
Yeah, because wherever they're going, they will take that with them.
They will. They absolutely will.
And as Annie mentioned earlier, and I've been with you guys on an investigation, what you're doing is tremendous research and work. And I've seen it, Annie talked about it numerous times, what Cody and Satori do is just incredible.
Incredible.
on that other physical aspect of communicating. So
Anytime you can ask a question and get a response that comes out with the timing and relevance and intelligent and answers the question, that's great progress. That
you
is.
got to come back. You got to come back in the
Yes.
future and get us more clips and get us up to date on what's going on with you. And
Yes, you are always welcome.
Come on.
Thank you.
Are you listening? You got to come on with us too at some point.
You bet. You bet.
All right. Any finishing words before we close up?
I love you both with all my heart. And Tony, please wrap Cherie in your arms tonight and tell her that hug is from me.
You bet I will. And thank you.
Truly love you both. And this was an amazing, amazing hour of power on KGRA tonight. I love you. Take care, everybody. Thank you. Thank you for tuning in tonight. And we'll see you again in a couple of weeks. Okay. Good night, everyone.
Good night.